Okay. All right, welcome back to another episode of Spitfire, the Call of Duty podcast that is better than Joe Rogan's because he doesn't do Call of Duty. Anyway, my name is Bryce. Joining me here this time around, we're going to have Tunn, of course. He'll be in the background doing various things and chiming in whenever he feels like it. But more importantly, our guest for this week, it's going to be Madcat. Madcat, how are you, buddy?
I'm good. Yourself, mate?
I'm really good. I'm glad you've come on. I'm glad we've got hold of you. I think it's now you've done the business in Vegas, right? You're like, yeah, we're good now.
Nah, it's not even about that. Well, it is a bit about that, but I don't know. Like,
See,
there's more to speak about than there was before.
okay.
What was you gonna speak about before me getting dropped? Woo, champs, woo. Like, you just want to leave in the past, right? Like,
he just wants to speak about the future and the
let's
present.
Let's talk about you being dropped then.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll speak about it now, like, but at the time I just wanted to move on.
That's what I want to talk about because we said it in this podcast in previous times, and I think a lot of people were unsure about this new team that you found yourself upon. Obviously, you know, proof is in the pudding, and Vegas was good, at least in the eyes of the community. I know you're never going to be happy without a win. But let's kind of talk about that position you found yourself in because you were kind of well, a lot of people said you had a very rocky last year and your stock kind of dropped, Madcat. What was it like going through all that?
Gee, stock hit the floor, bro. Like, I think my stock was higher, like, before I went to my first event. Like, it was mad. Like, it was kind of like kind of annoyed me a bit because, like, my stock had hit lower than people that hadn't have done anything at all. Like, literally 0.7s with the bar.
Yeah.
So, it was kind of annoying, but at the same time, I understood where people were coming from. World War II was an absolute shit show for me. The whole year was embarrassing. Well, I knew personally that I was just as good as I was before the speculation of me having a rocky year came about. But yeah, that's about it. Like, I would never thought, if I thought that I was bad as people thought, then I probably wouldn't have played this year. But I knew that it was pure that team that we had last year just brought out the worst in me.
Well, it's not even like your stock dropped the lowest on this new team you've got, Dill. Like, that's the crazy thing. This team, as we said, had essentially a roster of players that have been either overlooked or had rough years going forward. The only kind of caveat to that was people were wondering why Alex joined you.
Yeah, so pretty much like my stock had dropped, Josh's stock had dropped, Pete's stock was low, Dave's stock was low. I think, if I'm being right, mine was the lowest out of everyone's.
I don't think so. I think people really were not happy with Josh after the end of the Splice fiasco at the end of last year.
But if we're being real, a certain team offered the whole team apart from Pete, because Pete wasn't in our team at the time because of 5v5. So them three got offers and I never.
Really? That's mad.
So technically my stock was the lowest, bar Pete, because Pete wasn't in the team at the point that Rostermania was really going down.
I'll be honest with you, that's the first I've had that, and that's amazing, really. Like, the fact that they all got team offers and you were kind of not getting an offer, which is actually quite mind blowing for me. I'm just taking to digest that.
It makes sense for Alex, I would say, off the back of the year that he had.
I mean, but Alex, because it was a team that Alex just left.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
I mean, they even asked him back, so I mean, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't surprise me. He had a really good year with them, but a lot of people did question it. Like, I mean, I think it's just when you look at Uline's success towards the end of World War II, they did really well. I mean, Champs was a poor result for them, but I think a lot of people did question it, and I think fair enough. I think you look at it on paper, if you said before World War II, it's absolutely the right move for him to make, but I think based on what happened at the end of World War II, people are a little bit surprised.
I understand.
Yeah, I think also surprised me the PD pickup actually, but he played really well at the event. I just that for me, his stock had been really low for the past 2 years. Didn't really do anything in World War II, but he came in this game and he looks pretty good on it. So props to you guys for giving him the shot.
Pete's always been good.
Yeah, I think he just had a rough last 2 years, hasn't he?
Like, you gotta think Pete's always been like in that sort of mismatch opinion of like people having him like. Some people like him, some people don't. Like, at times of being a player, everyone loves Pete as a person. Pete's harmless.
Yeah. I had this theory, Madcat.
But like, you gotta think, like, he just played with Marky B for 3-4 years. Like, his mind was in the gutter. Like, if I played with Marky B for 3 to 4 years, my mind would have been like, I love Mark, but playing with Mark for 3 4 years, that has got to be tough. Like, I
I
played
had
with Mark for like 6 months, and I was on the verge of just topping.
We all remember when you play with Marky, mate. Trust me. There's not a
Yeah, yeah.
European vet that,
And
that
you
forgets
was
that time,
there.
man.
You was there in the flesh. You know how that
Yeah,
went.
yeah. I remember exactly how that ended up going. But I had a theory about PD and such because PD's always been a very fast player, right? He's always been the kind of the run and gun SMG player that teams realistically always need. And as soon as I saw that pickup, I was like, I wouldn't underestimate him because his game looks fast. And it is fast. We all know that this game is lightning fast this year. I think it's probably one of my fastest cards, maybe under AW.
Yeah, it's pretty fast. Well, you got 5 men, so it's gonna get even
Yeah.
faster.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I think Pete excels in those situations.
I
So
mean,
I was,
when we made the team, it was kind of like obviously me being the AR sort of player, Dave just being like in front of me, and then well, when it was 4v4, we have Josh and Alex just run about, and then when it got to 5v5, was like, even if at the start it's gonna be slow, people getting used to how it plays, but I mean, that's how it used to be. Like it's slow at the start and it picks up after. But like we already knew this game was fast as it is, and it was never going to be slow at the start. It was like, let's just pick up another fast player. Like we already got two slowish players. Well, we could switch up as it is, but like our comfort zone is being a bit slower than the rest. So they pick up a faster player, and Heat was probably the best option to get in that role. So
I think you ran out the team nicely because the questions we asked before Vegas were, how does this team work, and not only in a chemistry basis but like a role basis, and how are they going to deal with like, because we already knew going into Vegas it was going to be quick. We saw like the Maddox and the Sorg being heavily used. The ICR got relegated to 1 or 2 players max. So we were like, how does your team work? Was there ever like a period where you thought, oh, we're gonna try to build the team this way, or was it more, who are the best players we can get and we'll figure it out as we go?
I mean, you've got to think like our stocks were low, so we were forced to like have certain people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you got to think like I was on the rope. Josh was on the rope. Josh somehow managed to get Alex from his team. That kind of helped like a lot. And then I had Dave, so me and Dave joined Alex and Josh. And then when it comes to 5v5, the only really option was Pete in terms of how like caliber player. So
Yeah.
it was at the top of the list. So pretty much like the team like wasn't forced together, but it kind of was if you really think about it.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think a lot of people said you as a third team from Europe going in, or the third European squad anyway. Obviously, you placed joint highest with Team
I
Swede.
mean, some people even had us like fifth. Some people thought, oh, they haven't even had a top 8 in the 2K. Like they're gonna be terrible. They haven't had a top 8.
I never count 2Ks. Like, so
No,
rare.
2K is irrelevant, but I mean, people do count 2Ks like when Optic winning them. So
A lot of people were saying, just in the chat right now, just to grab this, people saying like Chain or Dylan, or even Moose. Did they ever come across the chopping block?
um,
Or the chopping block, so the pickup block? I don't know what kind of block it is.
I mean, Dylan, no, you gotta think before he got that team swimming in, he hadn't done anything.
Yeah.
That would have been a big rush for us. We was already clutching at risk as it is. Um, Moose, maybe not for this squad. Moose is a great player, but I don't think he would have fit in with that squad. And then who was the other one?
Chain.
Chain.
Same with Dylan, really, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah,
there was a couple of good AMs around, but as you said, it's the same with all teams when they're picking up somebody who hasn't necessarily done much, but has shown promise. Like, I mean, to some extent, like people like Dashi and Abizi are players like that, but obviously at a higher level. But still, it's risky pickups that you sort of just have to judge whether it's worth it or not. But
I mean, yeah, because like when you play against someone every day, like I mean, Dashi was in the league. Like they got to play against him like a lot, so you get to the gist of if that player's good. Like it's the exact same player when we brought in Jerd. Like, we played against him like 3 times at the one tournament, and we're like, this guy's nasty. Let's get him in. Like when you play against someone, you realize if you just watch him, you don't really know how good he really is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you Light Pandas played Splice, didn't they?
When?
Vegas.
Nah.
No, they didn't.
not?
No,
Oh, was it Team Sween?
They
Am I
nearly
thinking Team
did.
Sween?
Team Sween.
Team Swing did, yeah.
Yeah, my bad. I couldn't remember. Sorry, bad chest cough. I couldn't remember if you'd played your old teammate Jed, because you and him have been in teams for ages.
Yeah, that was our first event not together since AW.
Yeah, I thought that. I thought it was like you two have been the duo for a long time. Obviously he's doing well as well as you are. But here's the question I do want to ask, and I don't really want you to air stuff out or anything, and I know it's a difficult question. You obviously saw the results coming from the other European teams here, and it was a shock to a lot of us, especially Red Reserve. Is there anything that do you know, kind of like maybe that they figured out something was wrong going into the event? Because you've probably played against that team and spoken to those players more than I have. You certainly played against them more.
I mean, Red have got some of the best Call of Duty players in the game. Like, you got to think that team should work, but I think it was their preparation. I think there was more focus on getting over to America, and that kind of came in later than they thought. They thought they was going to be in there a bit earlier, so I think they thought the most of their prep would come in whilst over there. They got over there quite late, and the practice over here, honestly, was terrible.
Well, that's been a constant complaint, but like you say that, and then we saw the two teams who didn't move over to America, Sweden and yourselves, do fairly well.
I mean, yeah, mostly our practice before that event was play a Spanish team. There's 3 Spanish teams: Heretics, Giants, Blue Star Royals, Roman host, and let's just play. That was literally our practice before the event, was just play on Spanish host and just play at a disadvantage every day. And hopefully we get to land playing at an even playing field, then we just get better.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
Which is what happened, so.
Okay. Yeah, I think the thing is with that, when you play up against a team like Heretics, when we watch them, they play super fast. So I suppose it's trying to get used to that sort of play style. I mean, you might disagree, but
Oh yeah, they change everything. They do not care. Especially, it even gets worse on their host. So that was our practice. 5 times Spanish people on the same internet flying at us.
Yeah.
So someone's asked this, and I think this is a good question. Who are you going to be scrimming now? Was it like just Sunny, Sween, and Imperial?
The same people, pretty much. Today we're about to play Noel's team and Sunny B's team. We played Sween yesterday, and we'll still play the Spanish people. It'll be the same practice. Yeah.
What do you think of Team Sween?
I think they're a very good team. I think one thing that makes them as good as they are is honestly their teamwork. They're all on the same page. They do everything together. They're all on the same consensus of how to play the game. Obviously they've got raw talent. Nelson, even Sween can be good, all right on his day. Brian's good, and who's last player? Weeman's quite good as well. So you still got the talent there, just much teamwork. So
yeah, I think they just caught a lot of people off guard. To be honest with you, I think I expected them to get out of open bracket absolutely, but I just didn't expect them getting top 6, not even once. And I think a lot of other people probably just overlooked them at the same time, and they've come into the game and they're like, "Holy shit, why are we getting railed?" I mean,
everyone was just looking at people that performed last year.
Yeah,
and it's just
exactly.
thinking like,
They did perform at Champs, didn't they? They did perform at Champs. Although
like,
they lost a few players.
It's a new game.
Team.
Yeah.
Like as I watched Slasher saying 100 Thieves is a new game. It's who gets their head down the most and really puts in the grind. Like if you go into a new game thinking I was good at the last game, I'll be good at this game, ain't gonna work like that. No. This is a different game to World War II, different mechanics, different spawns, like the spawn system's different. Everything's just different, like S&D is different, patrols not CTF, like everything is different. So if you're not putting your head down, really focusing, you're probably gonna get caught off at the first event really badly.
Have you noticed a difference in maybe like replies to you on Twitter or the way your team's perceived, like before Vegas and after Vegas? I feel like people are looking at you in a whole new light now. Or at least you and the team.
I think the way we get looked at is the way I expect to get looked at. We're not shit. We never will be shit. Like the only way we get shit is exactly the way the Splice team work. If we let ourselves get shit, like.
How did that happen though, Dill, with Splice?
How did it happen with Splice?
Yeah. How did that team go? Like,
what the hell happened?
Because like a lot of people say that it just.
I mean,
work,
our first mistake was dropping Trey. Our first mistake was dropping Trey. Because even though we had a poor season 2, that was down to just Trey having an off event. Champs. I mean, we should have beat Optic at Champs, to be honest. We gave them probably their best game. Both
Oh,
of them when
such a
MB
good
beat
game as
them.
well.
One gunfight lost us the fourth map, which we would have won 3-1. But then we dropped Trey, we brought in Tom. We had a good first event. Before even we played the first event, Ben wanted to leave, so that shows you how good the team was chemistry-wise going into that year. So the players good at the first event, and then complacency started happening. To be honest, we didn't play as much. People started getting pissed off because we wasn't playing as much.
Because he's finished second at Dallas, didn't he?
And then we went into Nola. We didn't even know the meta for Nola. We got caught off guard at Nola. And it just went on from there. Like, and then Jared didn't even get to the league at the start. That game that we lost against E United at the start made us not even make playoffs. Yeah, so a lot of things happened that year. So we just got too much for everyone, and people stopped talking. People didn't want to really play with each other. Then we dropped Tom. We didn't even have a fourth in mind when we dropped Tom. We was just hoping we'd get someone. Then we got Josh. Josh ended up being the main AR. That didn't make no sense. So the team was just a mess. Like,
Yeah, people were not happy with that move. Like that was like one of the most controversial roster menu moves people talked about, and they still talk about it now, right? Like people really didn't get it. But like we all knew on the outside that it was a chemistry thing. We all knew
well,
that was the reason.
Someone had to go. Like we tried to have so many talks. We had talks. We had chats. Like we tried, and it just never worked out. So if you try and it doesn't work out, you need to make a change at that point.
Yeah.
Like we haven't sat there and just let it go on and go on and go on to the point where people are just dropping someone because it just never worked out. We tried, even though sometimes people didn't even end up being, it didn't end up being a full team conversation. That's how bad it got. It didn't even end up being a full team conversation because people didn't want people being there. People didn't want to be around people. That's how bad it got. You need a team change at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that because you can't improve at that point, right? There's no way to.
There's no improving.
Yeah.
It only
There's
gets
no way
worse.
back. You just kind of end up going through the motions when practicing. Like, yeah, we'll just play and hope we do okay. But fortunately, you've moved onwards and upwards, and you now have joined an org because I know it was rough going for a little while.
Yeah.
The Lightning Pandas, which not only that, but joining the Lightning Pandas, that's always been a fan favorite organization.
Yeah, the brand is quite good.
Yeah, and it seems like the fans have kind of come behind you now, and their merch line's good and all that sort of stuff. So hopefully that'll kind of push your stock even further high. So I think it's almost like it's Vegas turned it all around for you in one fell swoop.
Not really.
Not really. All right, from an outside perception, like I think Vegas was like really important to the way your team's seen.
Oh yeah, I mean, I said it after the event. If Vegas went bad, I would have questioned about competing. It's a new team, new game. I surely have to perform somewhat decent. No way I would perform the way I did at the end of World War II, and I never saw. I proved myself wrong.
Yeah, well, I think the best thing about it for me was kind of seeing everybody kind of relieved at the end of the event because like we said, we hung out with Dave and Petey after, and you kind of see that like even though they know 56th is never good enough, and it never will be for a competitor, you could see that at least in their minds it was a weight off their shoulders that they can still compete at that level. And I could see on their faces like just hanging around.
Oh yeah, that was everyone. That was including me. Like I always want to win, but going off of last year, how the whole off season started. Even practice, we was putting ourselves at that bad of a disadvantage online that we didn't even know if we was really that good. You know what I mean? In the back of my mind, I knew we'd be better than we was in practice because we was playing against a team house team in Spain, 5-man. We was always gonna get better. It was just how better could we get, and we ended up being well. Let's put it this way: after the event, we said, "Who here basically thought we'd get top 6?" Only one of us did, and that was me. So that literally put it into perspective, of how everyone really went into this year.
Yeah, I mean, when speaking to you boys though, it sounded like online wasn't going great itself. Did you I know obviously you would have had the expectation to do as well as you possibly can do, and nobody goes in with an expectation of just finishing 6th. Everyone goes into the event saying to themselves, right, we're going to win it. We're going to try and win it. That's what everyone tries to do. But online wasn't going well as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, online wasn't going well, but like you've got to think. If you go check every team I've been a part of year in year out, so you find like one or two maybe, but most of my teams get smoked online.
Mm-hmm.
Like our mill team was the end of season 2. We shouldn't even been there. We shouldn't even been at playoffs, but we got to playoffs and we smoked everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Like online's just totally different. Like it's so different. Like you gotta think. The way I put it is that some people are comfortable in the house, but for me, being comfortable is a bad thing because I just chill.
Yeah.
But some people are comfortable to the point where they play better. I play worse.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
So,
that's fair enough. That's fair enough. But yeah, I mean, it's good to see all you boys back at the top. I mean, I think of everyone in that team I knew would come on to do well is probably you and Dave. I mean, you look at it and like there was no way that you both could have done as badly as you did. Probably Dave more so than he did last year.
Because didn't Dave say he won more series at Vegas than he did the entirety of last year?
There, we were trying to work it out, me, him, and Miles.
yeah, he won one more series, like minus the league. Like
Yeah, apart from the
all
league.
the open, all the open events yesterday. Last year he won one more series at Vegas.
Jesus.
Like, you've got
incredible.
to think like even that team like they shouldn't have been as bad as they
No,
was.
they shouldn't
like,
have. Absolutely not.
They just gave up. Like
I think, to be fair, they didn't. I think had Nathan stayed in that team and they would have got better, because Nathan actually, like, I know you two personally don't get along, but he did actually look okay whenever they were at the league or whenever they were playing. He looked fine, but then
they were going to get better. But
yeah,
you
of course they
think,
were.
like,
But then he drops out and like
he dropped out. They missed the event.
yeah, like it was
Like,
just
they really didn't have a pick of like who they really wanted to. They ended up getting really took a while to get back to his like form.
Yeah.
At the end of the game, he got back to his form, but they've been battered too much at that point.
Yeah.
They got battered way too much. Like when you get beaten that too much, like exactly how the
you don't know how to win. You don't know how to win.
You forget how it comes together as a team. Like
Mhm.
it's kind of like it's hard like to say it, but it really like you really do forget how to win as a team. Like you don't know what it's like to fist bump your team and say good shit. Like that shit. Like for them, they probably even they probably never done that the whole year.
Crazy. Yeah. So I think they just had a couple of moments throughout the year. I remember being there with Steve-O and Hawkey sitting there, and Nathan, they got the DM off Nathan. He said it's not coming, and you're like, shit. I mean, how can this actually happen in this day and age where it's such a like Nathan's getting paid a salary, and it's just like one day you're saying you're not coming into work, and then never come back.
That guy waited like 2-3 years for that opportunity.
Yeah,
like,
which is even crazier.
No way he should have got picking up by that team after their IW year. He got honestly the biggest bring in I've seen in Call of Duty history.
I put a lot of stock in him, and
then just fuck him off like that was just horrible,
crazy. I mean, somebody said that they're like, I can't remember I think the only person that sort of knows the reason. I'm sure it was Ben Wright, Desire. I'm sure we were told that he's the only one that knows why. And he said it's a good reason, but it just doesn't seem to cut it. Like if you explain, like it's one of them things where he should have explained to the blow up boys and been like, right, I'm sorry to let you down. If it's that serious, they'll understand. But yeah, that's just, and to think he's walked away from a career that is very much sort of
getting more lucrative.
Yeah, it's a lucrative one, but it's also so many people's like dream. Like there's literally hundreds of people in this country, there'll be people in this chat who would give up so much to have that opportunity under a decent organization or a good
he waited
team.
3 years for it. Like he literally sat around. I don't think he worked. I don't think he went to college. I think he dropped out of school in Ghost as well. Like that guy honestly put everything into COD and then to just walk away like he did. I'm not sure how someone could do that. Like,
crazy.
The reasoning best have been really good because, as a person, you surely don't think and look back and think that was a good idea.
No, 100% not. But yeah, it was crazy, and I think that just really set them up, didn't it? It was like that happens, whole year goes downhill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Excuse me for just downing cough syrup on stream.
You're good.
I got a cough. It's all good. All right, let's put a pin in that for now then, and move on.
Okay.
To our next topic. What did we learn from CWL Vegas? Because we last episode we kind of just went straight through and talked about all the teams and the format of the event, but we didn't talk about anything we kind of learned coming out of it. I think for me, just how trade heavy this game is, like right now in the current meta, is insane. I was trying to figure out if I could think of another card with this level of trade. Don't get me wrong, every single card has always had a level of trading.
Mm-hmm.
But I think maybe it's the departure coming from World War II. Because in World War II you try to trade, but it'd be more difficult with the way the movement works. This one, it feels like all 10 players are fighting in a cupboard, and everyone's just trying to get the trades out.
Yeah. I think it's first event as well, though. Like, a lot of people are probably still trying. I mean, Dylan, you might say otherwise, but everyone's still trying to figure stuff out.
I think there's two things you can take away from Vegas, and going on what you just said there, Tunn, is that we had an extra month. Like, people should have been better than they should have been.
Yeah.
Like, I think if you take away the month that everyone had, them results seem meh. Like, you can justify most of them, but that extra month, people had time to grind. There's 4 extra weeks. Like, just think of it as Nola last year. Like, that's what the sort of practice people would have had extra. Nola, people were saying Nola was a legit event. Like, people had practiced enough, so people should have practiced enough. They had 4 extra weeks, but I think a lot of teams made their team wrong. 100 Thieves, Slash and Octane on one team. I think they was expecting the game to be a lot slower than it was.
Cool. It is fast. It is very, very hectic to keep up with.
I think a lot of teams have 2 slow players. Like, some teams that play that had an average event had 2 slow players. You can't have 2 slow players because you're expecting 3 men to fight 5 trades. That's why when we played against a slow team, we played phase. Let's put them on the small maps. Honestly. What they're going to do? Methods of replays? Are they really going to go in there with a sub and trade? No. If they do, they ain't going to be comfortable.
It looks like methods is being dropped, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, like, exactly. Like, teams have realised 2 slow players ain't going to work.
I think that's another thing I learned from Vegas is Sorgs look great. I don't get me wrong.
That's the exact thing. It even got worse on Lambros because the ICR became dog shit and the Sorg got better. The ICR was honestly the worst gun at the event. Like, the kills that I'd get, say, normally the longest range gunfight I ever have usually is the gridlock, last kill to like the 18-wheeler on control, say for instance. Online, them kills 4 to 5 bullets. On land, it was like 7. Like, people were walking away with lives for fun. Like, there was one game where I had like 7k damage, like half the kills of my team, because people were just getting away with their lives on the street.
Yeah, which is interesting considering how in previous years, you know, especially at the start of games, people were gassing up the AR players with if you had an ICR gun in previous games, that sort of stable AR. That could just sit somewhere and just pick faces.
Oh, that's your hard carry?
Yeah, that would be the one putting up like a 1.3, 1.4.
That was like World War II, like your ARs pretty much like they had to perform. Like,
Maddox is still good.
The Maddox, that gunfight was easier with a Maddox than it was with an ICR. Like, the Maddox is that good, but then again, the Sorg's still good. Like, I think it was just a Maddox Sorg fest that weekend.
Yeah. I honestly expected to go more that way. I expect teams to maybe push another one of their players into the Sorg, and then maybe have a slow Maddox player and a fast Maddox player, and you'd be good on so many maps as well.
I mean, yeah, like most of the maps, like the hard points are in a close quarters area. There's never a hard point where your AR could sit outside the whole time and just hold. Like, he has to get in dirty at points, like, and if that means you could put the ICR away and can keep getting in there with a Maddox, then it probably will work on this game. It will work.
Did you try any other guns, like a Rampart or anything like that, or was it just a waste of time?
We ain't risking that shit on land. Like,
that's true.
I know. We ain't pulling that shit out on land and trust
But maybe like I suppose in the scenario that
nature it.
Yeah.
Like, yo, we ain't trying that shit.
So this is to qualify for Pro League or potentially qualify for the Pro League qualifier. Let's bring out the Rampart, see if it's any good.
Let me just have a quick crack on this Vapor.
The Vapor's probably not bad.
That's what Tom would have done on Black Ops 1. When it was minus 140.
Let's not talk about that.
I heard those one players use the Rampart for its double FMJ.
Use it.
I don't think I saw it at the weekend.
I only ever seen it when an attack chopper or a sniper's nest came up because it takes it down quick. That's the only time I ever seen it, personally.
Yeah.
I saw a few snipers in S&D. And obviously, because unfortunately the Mosley was good, so you can kind of justify it. But it comes back to that old thing here of, are you really gonna be able to pick that many heads here, especially in this game where people are sliding about like lunatics? As soon as that fight gets hectic, you are gonna get pushed. Like everybody's coming full force. It's very little. It seems S&D, from what I've seen of it, seems to be this game of waiting, or somebody's just going to hit and then it will kick off like a continuous gunfight until the end of that game, regardless of whether that bomb is planted or not. It's just continuous.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fast-paced game, Royce.
Yeah, it is. It's certainly. I think that's probably the biggest thing that I learned from Vegas is that this game is even faster than I thought it would be.
I mean, but that is entertaining for the viewers. Like, who was entertained by World War II? Like, even playing, you got bored.
I don't know. I like S&D.
No, you can't say you like S&D.
I like playing S&D.
What? Just like on certain maps, he was who could throw the nades better. Let's rely on our sniper this map. Like,
yeah, I used to like sniping, so I suppose that's my fault.
It's not a team-based game. Like, I mean, it was to a certain extent, but the game was pretty terrible.
Yeah, I think it's just such a change of pace from this one to that one. It's just such a difference. Are you sad CTF is gone?
Nah, CTF was started to get boring. I don't know if they were making the CTF maps for fun. Like, I don't understand like what they were doing with the maps. Like, CTF did not work with their maps. Like, just look at London Docks. You could take the flag and get into the building straight away with it. Like, what can you do about that? Like,
same with Islands.
Be interested to see what this game would have been like for CTF. I think it was just a case of too many bodies on the map to try and even.
Do you know what, like, kind of dead CTF for me? The spawn trapping.
Yeah.
If you can't.
It's just
mod 3 CTF was the best CTF ever.
Black Ops 2.
Yeah.
Like if
you could, like, no way. Like, if the better team, if they put you in a spawn trap, you don't deserve to be winning that game. Like, no, you should be able to hold the map or hold your spawn for a wave. You should never be able to get spawn trapped. Simple as, but I don't know. Maybe Carter just doing it noob friendly. I don't know.
Oh, no, I agree with you on the map thing. I think maps were a big issue with CTF and why it got so stale and stuff. But we got Control. What do you think of Control coming out of Vegas then? Now that everybody's had a chance to, how do I put this? There was a lot of talk before the event about, have people got some clever tactics around it or clever rips, that sort of stuff to kind of break these hills and get it fast. I didn't see too much of that, but what did you think of Control after Vegas?
I think Control, honestly, before when it came out and I scrimmed it a few times, I said it'd probably be the best game mode. Like, Hardpoint will obviously have its nail-biting moments, but as a general strategist, Control will be the best game mode purely because so many different things the way the game can go. You've got 2 different points. Like, just the lives come down to it as well. Like, whenever you ever seen a game in competitive where lives come down to something other than S&D, like, and that's not really, you just get 1 life and that's it. Like, there's so many ways the game can end that honestly, you have to adapt. Like, and if you can't adapt to being on the back foot, then you're probably gonna lose. Like, so the best team will probably win Control. Like, that game 3, whoever wins game 3 is probably the best. Has the best teamwork in that game.
Yeah, because there was a lot of negativity, wasn't there, from a lot of people online about Control, saying it's really just like a lot of people complain, saying it's a bit just basically TDM, like literally shoot each other down. But we've seen a little bit more of a structured game. I think like when people first played it, it was like, well, how do we play this properly? And everyone started to figure it out, and then it sort of developed into a better game mode. I love watching it though. I mean, some of the best moments that we had on the open stream came down to really close controls or towards the end hard points, of course, and stuff like that. But yeah, I like watching it. I think it'll become a fan favorite. I just hope that they keep it in over there.
Definitely.
I want to move on to the next point now before we blow Control anymore. Let's talk about specialists. Coming out of Vegas, specialists seemed so important every single game. I think everybody has agreed now that the Tempest probably needs tweaking at the very least.
Got a little nerf. Got a little one.
I mean, it got a little nerf. The good Tempest players are saying it's harder to hit. Dash is saying it's harder to hit. Even Dave's saying it's harder to hit. Like, if the people that were honestly world star is saying it's harder to hit and they're missing shots, It's probably been nerfed a decent amount.
Yeah.
Whether or not them players get better with it, we need to look at. But at the moment, I think it's been nerfed a decent amount.
We won't know until the next event, though. That's the issue for me. Is like we'll know next event because this event was all Tempest highlights, all the time.
Yeah, people are well starting with Tempest, and it's the thing that like if you take it to like this Tempest or Black Ops 3 Tempest, there's no charge. That's where people used to get caught off guard, charging the gun.
Yeah.
At the start.
Well, that's what made the old
There's
Tempest
no
so
charge.
hard. I mean, a great Tempest player in Black Ops 3 was like just rare because that charge could catch you out so easily. People with the movement and the people snapping onto you and stuff. Now you got to remember that pros are incredibly good at what they do. They very rarely miss. They have that natural ability to snap onto everybody. So you give them a weapon that takes advantage of that. Of course they're not going to miss. The only way that gun could have got any more powerful was if it was a single hit kill and it just kept electrifying the dead body, rather than the alive person.
Well, yeah, that was the question because every other specialist, you have some sort of counter to it, I guess, like the War Machine Trophies flag,
Yeah.
Vision Pulse. Like, what is Vision Pulse? There's just no way you are. Like, it's still gonna have the same gunfight. Maybe they pre-fire, but you're gonna get ready for the pre-fire. What other specialist was used? The Crash, 200 health. Like,
yeah, still
this is a bit more health. Like, it's not that bad. And then
Grab Slam.
Grab Slam. It's hard because you group up, you're gonna get slammed. But you're probably gonna know when they have it.
Yeah, it's
But
keeping an eye on
sometimes
it.
is it a bit hard to figure out like sometimes you're probably gonna end up forced to being grouped up. But I mean Grab Slam's Grab Slam, but I mean Tempest was the most OP thing ever.
What do you think?
But, I mean Grab Slam they have to get close to you anyway, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not like they can just fire it from along a lane or something like that.
Yeah.
What do you think of the new one?
Zero.
Shit, I haven't played that much like since getting back.
Yeah, I suppose it's not something that's been in scrims, is it?
If I'm looking at it, it's good, but the question is that it can be useless. If the other team doesn't have streaks, or well, it doesn't take away the flag, it doesn't take away the perks. It's basically just hacking their kill streaks. If they don't have kill streaks, it's useless.
Yeah, I've seen a conversation online where people are complaining saying, how is it fair? Like, a lot of people are saying it's overpowered. Now, a lot
Publics, though, isn't it, mainly?
Yeah. But I don't know if somebody's used it in scrims, that sort of thing.
But you gotta say, like, if you hack mine back, we probably got the hack back anyway.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
hack that shit straight back.
But then,
We wasted it.
Yeah, a lot of people are complaining that it counteracts the fact that you get streaks. But is that not a good thing? Like,
see, I was thinking this, Tunn, because a lot of what happened at Vegas was snowballing.
Yeah,
specialists into streaks.
It slows that down.
Streaks into more specialists.
Yeah, you gotta think as well. Like, if I get a streak, and we see their zero player has got it, and we haven't, then we need to keep them streaks because we can't hack that shit back.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you gotta think if they hack it, the only way we take away that streak is blow it up, or we just take it straight back. Best thing probably is to take it straight back.
And then Zero could come in and not be as useful as it would like to be, and then you're taken away from another specialist that could be very, very good.
Which is like an annihilator that's a kill specialist.
I'm all for it personally. For me, it's different because we're not players and we.
I mean, it offers a variety. The same 5 specialists on each team is boring. Like,
it's something different.
But that's where the game needs to come in, and it needs to be like Black Ops 3 where you see what they are picking. Like, we shouldn't go in there blind counter that they've got Annihilator and we've got Zero. Like, we should kind of have like a draft off, you know what I mean? Like Black Ops.
A snake draft. I'd love to see a snake draft. Like, can you imagine that you could only one of each specialist could be used in game, so you had to snake draft it off.
And so who's getting Tempest then?
Yeah, well,
exactly. That'd be first pick every time.
That would be the difficulty.
That's where the balance comes in, right? If you can balance it properly, then you'd have the snake draft off. Like, they may get Tempest, but you then pick the next two. So, like, you could probably get Grab Slam and War Machine.
Yeah.
And then they could get something else. Like, and that's how you balance it that way with the snake draft, right?
I mean, that comes into like you knowing the specialist score even better. Like, you can't say I've nearly got it, they've got it. Like, you kind of have to know, like, at that point. I mean,
I'm curious to see it.
That's why you need a coach at that point.
Which is great. This is a great opportunity to move into our next topic. Let's end that one now and talk into our next topic because we're not going to get a better segue than that. Coaches in Call of Duty. A lot of talk about this recently, simply because coaches are becoming more and more prevalent.
Yeah.
And also, I think there was a lot of conversation from pros about it recently as well, saying they want coaches back on stage. So not only have coaches come back into the kind of the realm of Call of Duty, and every team that is trying to get one right now, including a high-profile transfer that I heard about the other day, which I don't think has been announced yet. I am right on that one, I think. At least I haven't seen it.
I'm gonna need like a PM or something.
Yeah,
Like...
you're gonna have to drop this in the Discord.
Yeah, we're gonna.
I've heard. If it's true, it's mad.
Drop it in now. Drop it now, so we know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like I can't sit on that one line. Let's discuss this.
One sec.
Well, I'm just chat. Yeah, that's not on stream, right?
You need to drop it.
There you go.
Oh, right, okay. That would make sense.
I don't like that. Nah.
That's what I heard, man. That's what I heard. Anyway, we need to get away from that because obviously people listening don't know what on earth we're talking about. But that's if that is announced soon, that will be another big thing about coaches coming up.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Dill, what are you telling us? Because right now you don't have a.
We do.
Do you
have a coach? We got Joel.
Oh, it's Joel. Yes, I forgot. I completely forgot it was Joel.
You're literally having lunch with him on the Monday.
Joel's gonna be so mad that I forgot him. So you do have a coach, sorry. It's sweet to have a coach at the moment. So yeah, you got a coach, and I think actually your coach is probably the one that's gone most under the radar, because Joel never really gone like public with a lot of stuff. Like if you take obviously reciprocity of Shane's been in some of their media stuff. Red Reserve have Dominate, who's an ex-pro himself, and you know he's been in the Red House, and there's been pictures and stuff of him going about. Joel has, if anything, been kind of more in the background. That's probably why I always forget that Joel's.
Yeah, you gotta think as well. Like Joel's not followed by a lot of people outside of our like circle. Do you know what I mean? So, like, no one. It's kind of like the FaZe Ben phase. Like, I didn't even know FaZe Ben was in FaZe till last year, like World at War Season 1. Like, and he was joining them the year before, so he went under the radar because no one knew who he was. So, it's kind of like the same with Jordan. Like, we don't tweet none of that shit out. Like,
yeah.
We ain't tweeting on that bullshit, you know what I mean?
We ain't flexing on the timeline.
Yeah, like, we don't know that shit, man. Come on.
I feel so bad. Joel's gonna be so mad. I forgot. The worst thing is I talked to him at length about the event. I can't believe I did that. But no, again, this is like people are talking more about coaches. Obviously, you've got one yourself, Madcat.
I think that could be viable, like, especially with the streaks, the specialist. But like the counter argument to why they got banned was the shit talking, right?
That was one of them.
But this is where we're coming to it. The players have stopped shit talking. Like, we don't shit talk no more.
Yeah, that's true.
So the coaches won't. Like, if I had a coach shit talking me, I'd have shut the fuck up. Like, we've got more things to focus on. Like, back in the day, we'd kill all 4 people and we wouldn't have to fight for another 20 seconds.
Yeah, somebody would be standing up.
Yeah, like, we could literally have time to stand up and talk straight shit. We ain't got time. Like, if we kill the first guy and kill all 5 of them, that first guy's back just as we killed the 5th guy. Like, we ain't got time to just talk shit out here. Like, so as long as we keep it professional, make sure the shit talking doesn't happen, make sure we keep it 100% communication within the team. Coaches can be viable, and I think they bring a lot. And I think we saw like I think it was Black Ops 3 that Infused team when they didn't have Dinge, they crumbled. When Dinge was allowed near them, they did well. When I think it was the playoffs, they didn't look as good as they did in open events when Dinge was allowed behind them because.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think for me, coaches have always been relevant, even when they can't talk to the team on stage. Just simply because, especially now you've got bigger team sizes, right? Getting all those players to kind of always be friendly and improving and talking right is something that actually doesn't happen all the time. Yeah. A coach is outside that situation, so he can look at it objectively, and he can settle any disputes. He can criticize without that other player coming back at them because it's not a defensive thing. Then it's like, oh, how do we get better as a team? We've all seen the famous Revan clip that came out just before Vegas, where he's like gassing up his team and stuff, like in between maps online.
But this is where we're coming to a thing of, are these coaches actually qualified to do what they want? Like, but I guess that's in terms of the teams picking up like them sort of things, like, because like when Mark first joined us, Mark didn't know what the fuck he was doing. Let's be honest. Like, I love Mark, but he didn't know what the fuck he was doing when he first joined us. I mean, I think. Like Jared Valstrom said that he's got way better. He's learned a lot. But them sort of like coaching roles nowadays, like there's no foundation for them. So do we know what's best for a team in Call of Duty? Like,
I think it's about
because like you gotta think like even these Spanish teams, they have coaches that get their scrims for them. Like we used to have an S&D chat against Movie Star Riders before the event. I had to go through their coach to get a link to their CMG team. Like, that was absurd.
Yeah, but I think it's also they come under the role of like a team manager, don't they? Like they just like make sure that things like they can organize scrims for them, go through VODs for them, and it just sort of takes away some of the time that you would used to be able to do something. I think everyone has one in the background, but having them on stage, I'm all for it, just because I think it gives the guys a name there as well. You can see them behind, and it sort of puts them in the spot as well because a lot of them have a lot of influence. You know what I mean? I mean, like. Speaking of,
well, look at the coaches now.
Yeah,
like, there are some big name coaches.
Yeah, well, you got
probably biggest name is what, Teep at the moment.
Teep.
I mean, you got to think as well, like having coaches will only allow these young players or these sort of like not inexperienced, but like dumbed down players to come more into like a team of like vets, because you have a second guy there to really to have like an influence on these young players.
Sure.
Like what the Celium to phase rumor.
Yeah.
Got a coach there to help him.
Rumor.
I mean, I don't really know, give a shit, but to help him ease into a team like that, figure out how they're playing the game, for him ease into it. Whereas, say, if replays had to do it, maybe he just gets annoyed that he keeps having to do the same thing every day with the same guy, and it just gets a burden on his shoulders, right?
Yeah.
You get a guy to bring him in, team gets better because they've got a better player that plays the game better, and all you need was to pay a coach a little salary, and he comes in and makes the team way better.
Well, I think that there are many ways of coaching, but like I get that pro players are good at doing it, but my argument is when an ex pro turns into a coach after a year of not being in that environment, they're not going to have the same innate knowledge as a player anymore because they're not doing the same thing. But I think it's about how you coach, right? I think there's going to be different kind of levels of coaching depending on what the team's comfortable with. Madcat, that you don't really need to be told how to play Call of Duty. Like, you just don't. So a coach telling you how to play is not always going to be the right thing. What a coach could do, regardless of who they are, ex-pro player to some dude called Dave, the real thing that matters is whether or not they can talk to you like in a way that you're going to understand, that you'd look at X part of a gameplay, or here's what your teammates trying to say, or here's how we resolve this conflict in a team.
Yeah.
That for me is way more important than just being an ex-pro player. Now, there are a lot of ex-pro players doing it. I think it's going to be very interesting over the next couple of years to see which ones are actually good coaches or which are just trying to apply their knowledge of, when I was a player, we would do this to the situation. Because I don't think that's actually helpful at all.
No, that's not helpful at all because the games have got way different. As you said, like someone like me, I don't need to be told how to play the game.
Yeah.
Like I adapt every year. As you say, but my problem is being able to speak to people with the right tone of voice without being aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
That's where a coach will come in and transfer what I'm saying to them without the aggressive tone or the pissed off voice. You know what I mean? So the coaches can help in so many situations as long as they adapt to the people around them and they literally know what they're talking about. I think that's the one thing that, like as you say, some people come in from playing into coaching. It's like, back in when I was playing, but you aren't playing anymore. You haven't played in a few years. Like what you're saying is probably irrelevant right now. So I think, as you say, it's interesting to see which coaches are going to be good. I think it's the coaches that probably were really smart back in when they played, or still watch VODs and put in as much time as the players.
Well, I always liken it to sports, right? Like, not every coach or, offense coach or defense or whatever in any sport, NFL, football, basketball, they're not all ex-pros for a very good reason. Because there's a difference between either like teaching or helping someone learn something or change, attitudes that you don't need them to be an ex-pro for. What you do need is management skills, time management, all that sort of shit. That's very, very important. So, like, take Reciprocity and Red, for instance, right? They've just had a big move out to Vegas, both of them. The most important thing for any coach in that situation is to get them in the right frame of mind to fucking play properly. You've got to ease that transition and get them in the right routine to be playing without being complacent. With five, especially with 5 guys in the house, there's no off time for those teams now. Mm-hmm. There's no fucking stepping away. There's no chilling out with their mates. There's no fucking, where's the girlfriend? Or I'll go sit with my family for the afternoon. Or fucking off your teammates because you can't be bothered for the afternoon. It is, you are in that house. There is no fucking excuses. And if you don't like something, it's easy to blow up or, get complacent or hate somebody. it's so easy now for those teams to do that. And a coach is outside that high pressure environment enough that they can sit down and they can talk to a player without having them have to talk to their teammates, or, you know, if they need some help doing something, or just living in that situation for a year. It's something that any coach or manager right now should be looking at very seriously and figuring out how to make sure it doesn't all go fucking wrong over the next 6 months.
Well, yeah, that as you say, like, I think personally, team houses are the worst thing. I think they're awful. Living where you work is awful, in my opinion. That comes down to the coaches or the managers they take over there to help the team ease in and be able to work where they live. Because let's be honest, it's probably the worst environment to work and live in, because it's toxic when you lose. Like, as much as people hold it in, maybe people, like, some people talk about to other people. Like, if people don't, I'm expecting people at a higher of professionality nowadays to not talk shit behind their team's back, unless it's that bad. So let's say then they're not.
But there's no walking away from it.
It's down to the coach to bring everyone together and have. But that's where it needs to be enforced from the start, right? Because you don't do it at the start, you do it after. No one's ever been in that situation before, and it's that bad that you don't know how to do it. So
I can only imagine how bad it could get. You think about it, like you have a bad argument online or a loss, right? And you try you put your headset down, you walk out, you go into the kitchen, you make yourself a sandwich. There's that fucker coming in, getting a packet of crisps. There's no getting away from him, mate. He's there still.
Yeah, he didn't get the tray, bro. And he's standing right next to me like, get the fucking tray. But yeah, like, team houses, they can be bad. Like, I've been in one of them. That wasn't even that bad. Like, we made the playoffs at X Games and it still was shit. Like, it's like you have like an argument and you want to you don't want to diffuse the situation because everyone's still high, right? Like, high on the toxicity, but you want to go get a drink. You get a drink. He wants to get a drink as well. You're standing next to your opponent, a drink. You don't say anything. Like, it just the toxicity just gets higher and higher and higher, and no one said anything. It's the silence that kills it. It's the fucking silence.
But that's where a coach comes in, right? That's where the coach.
Well,
comes
how
in.
much can they do?
I don't know. For me, I'd either just start talking shit through or make a joke. Like,
it depends who's your coach.
You've got to get out of that situation as fast as possible, because the coach won't be angry in that situation. The coach will be
but everyone else will be, and that's where, like, people turn that anger towards the coach. And when
the coach can take it, the coach can take that shit.
But, like, it depends how the coach is personally, because if the coach feels that everyone's angry at them and can't really speak to them as a person anymore, like, that's where the coach is pretty much just as pushed out as the players. So I think personally, team houses are awful. I prefer the apartment situation. Whether you play in your apartment or you go to an office is a different situation, but I prefer to have my own space. It's better.
Yeah. I think we talked about it, didn't we, Bricey? We sort of said we're not 100% sure how much we like team houses as well, because the exact same reason. It's
personalities, though. For me,
it depends who you have in there.
For me, I'd be fine in it. I'd be absolutely fine, because if I ever blow up, I'd blow up massively and then be fine 2 minutes later. But that's a personality thing. Yeah, it's very much personality based.
Yeah.
And I still think when you've got young players in that situation,
but that's where it is. It's the young players. Like, you gotta think, like, in this house, you've got to clean up after yourself. You gotta cook for yourself. You gotta do all this for yourself. And it would piss me off if ex-player, let's say Petey, just left the kitchen in a state and I had to come clean it up. Like, I would go slap him.
I couldn't live with Dave. Honest, not after Monday, man. He's a wind-up merchant, that kid. I couldn't live with him.
Yeah, I'd be killing Dave. Dave would be dead.
He'd be dead.
Your team would be dead, man. Can't live with him.
Like, you gotta think, most of these players are coming from home where their mother, their father does everything for them. There's very few players that are independent whilst living at home. So, team houses are awful. Let's just put it that way. Team houses are awful. Like, you're putting 19, 20-year-olds in a team house. They don't know even how to fucking wipe their own asses. It's awful.
Again, that comes down to a coach thing. Like, for me, and this isn't.
Well, that's where they're not a coach anymore. They were fucking psychiatrists. They were fucking cleaner.
Well,
like,
you know what?
At this point, they're not getting paid to do what they do.
You're in Call of Duty Esports and you made it as a coach. You got to do all that shit. I don't care. And this isn't. Although we highlighted Red and reciprocity, this is for all the coaches. Like I'm not singling those two out. I think those two because it's the ones that come to the forefront of my mind because of the moving out there, and I've seen so much of them interacting with their team. Shane and Dominic, I do not envy them at all. I think Shane is backup in the form. Is he with Ogre or is it Ogre too with?
I think he's like their team manager. I think.
Yeah. So he's in there at least. Like he's been through the pro shit, right?
Like
Oh,
Shane,
God, yeah. I mean,
Shane honestly is a character. So Shane is a guy that can diffuse situations and have a joke as well. Dom's a serious guy. I don't think anyone in Red is fucking with Dom. Like they ain't back chatting Dom. Like Dom will start dishing out punishment. Like people will be put to the naughty step and they know it.
Just
So
walking around with a small bat.
yeah. So I think them two fit well in their role. I think the players respect them as people as well. So, well, as you say, like we need like more people want to get in this role, right?
Yeah,
But are they cut out for
I'll be
it?
looking for a team.
Can't cook rice.
Whoa, man!
Who
I'll have you
can't?
know that is actually an acceptable way of cooking rice, as I found out.
wait, hold on,
Also,
what?
oh, this is a long story.
Rice. It was porridge. It wasn't rice.
It was
porridge.
a little bit overcooked, but that's my fault for not knowing how to cook for 14 people.
It was undercooked. Let's be honest. It was
no,
undercooked.
it wasn't. It was
Soggy.
overcooked.
It was
If you think that's
soggy.
undercooked, you're mad.
I
You're genuinely mad.
Personally, I can't cook rice in it, and I won't try to, so I'll leave it there.
Rice
my
isn't
chicken was
easy,
good.
is
My
it?
chicken was good right up until you threw it over the couch, man.
What do you mean? I cooked my own chicken?
Oh, you did actually, yeah, because you're fussy as hell. I forgot about that. Yeah, and then you threw it over the couch. But no, like that's like, don't get me wrong, like even that, like, and this is just like I actually don't. I have been offered a coach thing before, but like this is not like something I'm actually going for. But for me, like, yeah, I probably would end up cooking for a team if I was in that situation. Especially now I'm really used to cooking like 14 people regularly.
That's
Like,
due to you. That's due to you
Yeah.
as an experience, as a
Yeah.
mature adult. But like, I don't think Dom can whip up something. I don't
No,
think
I
Shane
think Dom can. I think Dom can. Dom,
You
Dom.
reckon
I
Dom can
reckon.
cook? I don't
I
think
reckon he
Dom
can.
cook, you know.
He
Like, if
he
he's in the
strikes
chat,
me.
let us know if you can cook. Dom. Like, I don't think you can cook. Like,
Oh man, but that's something that I would expect a coach to like at least be thinking about, right? Like because if you think
Yeah.
about that, like I need to get my team on a good schedule. I need to get them in that right frame of mind. I can't have them all slumping at like 5 a.m.
oh yeah, they need to
Getting
get
up,
up. I'm
yeah.
sending them to the gym. They're coming back. They're eating some good meals. Like, even if we have to order them, like, you know what I mean? Like,
You ain't
I
living
mean-
off Doritos and fucking chocolate
Yeah.
for the next 6
I
months.
mean,
That's
they
what we've
want-
seen in the Wreck Team House video already.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
I mean, they
Wiskins
do
is there
say
with these
like
chips
the fatter
ahoy.
you get, the better you get a cod, like, you know what I mean? I personally do vouch for that as well. Like, I got fat, I got better at cod.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's the thing. I think that's literally just playing so much you don't
Yeah,
do
I
anything
think that
else.
might be it.
Yeah,
That's what that
yeah.
is.
They're,
I feel like
truth
there
there.
are very few players that are actually just maintaining a healthy balance. If you played a crap ton of Call of Duty and still ate right and went to the gym, you'd still be just as good. It just takes a lot of discipline. Like it's not even motivation, it's discipline. And that's hard to do when you've got 4 guys in your house who aren't doing it and are stuffing their face with the dominoes every third night.
Unless you do back day. I do back day and my hands are just in pain.
Oh
I
yeah,
suppose
mine
it's different,
are
yeah.
fucked.
Mhm.
All right, let's move this along now because questions in the chat. Let's have a little look. Opinions on if Red had a bad event or if they won't be the team this year that they were last year. I think we've kind of
Bad
already
event.
covered this, Madcat.
Be the team they were last year. I don't think they'll ever get to a point. I don't think the competition's that high with being 5v5 as well. I don't think they'll be as the point where they were undisputed second best team in the game. No one else could beat them bar Roy's, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Whether they get there or not is questionable. The comp's so high. Maybe they get to the point as good as they are, but other people will be as good. So their skill ceiling's so high, right?
Yeah.
As players, right? The only person that really can't put up a 1.2 is Joe, right?
Yeah,
Well,
but
you don't
Joe's got his own
expect
skills, man.
you don't expect that from Joe. You
Mhm.
expect everything else from Joe.
Mhm.
Joe's just as good as doing what he does as the people putting 1.2s, right?
Yeah.
So I think as I said before, I think they were so adamant that the practice would come from being in America, and I think that came a bit too late to the point where they would like they done good in the pro thing, right? The
Pro
pro
down.
down.
Yeah,
Mhm.
pro down,
But
yeah.
is that enough? Like the one pro down really is enough to turn up at LAN and have a good performance throughout 3 days?
I think this has shook them massively, especially that first group stage. That must have shaken them.
Mhm.
I
So
mean,
I,
but
I, I'm
like
expecting more.
I think there's they've got the people around them, even if it's like one or two of them that really knuckle down and put everyone in shape. Because you still got, I think, there's still quite immature people in there, like young immature players. But I think they've got a balance of Dom, Reese when he's not performing, he's pissed off, right?
Yeah.
Like whether he gets good or not, like he's still got the right attitude to, well, the right mentality of
Mm-hmm.
getting better, right?
Mhm.
Whether or not that happens is a different question, but at least his head will be in the right mind. Joe as well. I know Joe's going to be roasting people. He ain't going to be happy with that performance. It's just putting them, the three younger players, in that go mind. And I know, I think they will do it, yeah.
Right, cool. Right, we're going to rattle through these, Mad Cat, because I actually want you to go get ready for your scrims and
I
stuff.
heard there's a 22 gig update, so I don't think we're going to be scrimming at this point.
A 22 gig
Oh,
update? Are
wow.
you mad?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. If there's patch notes, then we're
Oh,
gonna have
wow.
to talk about that. I'll update it.
All right. It can't be a 22 gig update, man. That's mad.
That's what my team chat just said.
That's a lot.
Jesus.
No, I can't actually.
All right, let's ask this next question then. Which EU teams do you think will make it into the Pro League, excepting yourself? Bearing in mind a few AM teams were underestimated. I mean, it could be a good year for EU, or it could be a terrible year. I really can't figure it out yet.
What AM teams are underestimated though? Like
I don't know.
there's only like a couple of AM teams that really did like something decent, like so. But like from Europe, Team Sweden, Rec Red. Who else even made the cut? There was No's team.
all of the Spanish movie
Oh
star
yeah,
Riders, Giants, and Heretics all made it.
I think Heretics will get in there.
I think Heretics will qualify.
Yeah.
I think they might as well, actually. Yeah.
Okay.
I've got the list up here. I don't. I think Imperial, unless they get given a shit hard bracket, but I don't think they'll get hard bracket to the point where they won't make it to that double elim bracket, right? So
Yeah.
they'll make that double elim bracket even if they get a hard group. It's just up to them whether they get through the double elim bracket, right? So
Yeah.
Sonny's team, I don't know. They got the potential, but they lost to the Australians, right? Like not even a good Australian team. Like, they got the potential, but is it gonna come together at LAN? And Niall's team, I don't think so, but they might be a boogie team. And then I don't think Giants or Movie Star. I didn't. I don't.
Nah.
I think they just scraped it to skin in their teeth.
Yeah, Giants
The
lost to
Giants
Taylor
should have lost a
Mines.
fucking. Giants should have lost a Bulldog fucking like round 1 or round 2. So they should have been out from the way back go. So.
Yeah, there's a couple of them that will struggle, but I think a few of them are definitely on the cusp of qualifying. Some teams are going to have to be very careful because I mean I know the format hasn't been announced, but you know we know it and it's dangerous for some teams. But it's very fair from what I've heard.
Oh yeah, if you like whoever makes the Pro League
Deserves
will be deserving
Yeah,
of the Pro League this year.
There's far too many games being played for that not to
Yeah.
be the case. Like,
It's not 1 best of 5 where
No.
you get
a bad pull in the bracket and then suddenly you're fucked by it. It's not that.
It's not that like.
No. I'd love to talk about it, but I don't think it's been announced. I don't think we're allowed.
No,
So.
it hasn't been announced, which is why we can't talk about it
Yeah.
yet. Even though it's like the worst kept secret.
Yeah.
Madcat's opinion on the amount of things GA'd. Do you think it's too closed or too open, Madcat, at the moment?
Isn't it just specialists that's been jailed?
God knows. Honestly, the GA moves.
I can't remember. I can't remember what's even allowed and what's not. Nah, I think the game's what it should be right now.
Okay, I mean that's fair. That's fair. Let's look at this next one. Someone's asking about that. Wee Man says he's every third night. He says he's hitting the dominoes every other night. So that's always a good sign.
No, he's he's hitting too much.
Hitting what?
The dominoes every other night.
Oh, sort it out, man. Don't put yourself, bro. Like, for personal
Don't do it.
Don't go down that route, man. Like, you will spend endless time in the gym trying to sort that shit out. Like,
it's too much.
I can attest. When's a good time to pack it all in? Great question from John Perry.
what, me personally, or?
Oh, just generally.
I mean, as a competitor, it's always gonna be hard to come to an agreement that it's time to give it up.
I think if it's your career, it's like if you're not making pro league, like
no, yeah, if you're not making pro league, then for me personally, it's done. Like,
yeah.
pro
But if you're
league
doing
should be a minimum. Like,
yeah. If you believe you can still be there, or you're just doing it because you enjoy it, then there's not really.
oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
some people do it casually, but I mean, just solely focusing on one thing. Like, you've got to be in the pro league. Like, I mean, people get paid being in the pro league, right? That's where you get paid. So
I think for me, it's always been a case of I can tell when a pro's coming close to retirement because they don't take losses as hard as they used to. Like when you get used to losing, that's when you're coming close to retirement. When you're okay with it, like, and you recover fast, because every time, like, I know a pro's still fucking on it when they're still like spitting feathers at the bar that night. Like, if a pro's having a good time at a bar and they've had a shit event, they're about to retire or they are gonna get fucking dropped because they are not competitive enough.
I mean,
You
I
have
do
to have that drive.
I do agree what you're saying. I do agree. I
Yeah,
don't like when some people are getting happy over like a bad event. Like, shit, like just go sit in your room and shut your mouth. Like,
yeah.
like start thinking of different strats for the next event, guy. Like, because like that drink ain't gonna bring you in a good place one night.
Yeah, and I've always been able to, like, for me, like, and you can't really speak too much on it, Madcat, because you are one of them. But pro players are, for me, always been a different breed. The competitiveness of pro players is genuinely astounding. If you're watching this, you're not in that competitive mindset. Like, you're not breathing to win and dying not to, to fucking that next win. Like, that's the difference between pros and normal players. You can tell. You can fucking see it in their faces. And now I'm a competitive guy most of the time, and I've got nothing on current pros in terms of like how much they want to win. It just means everything. It's not about the money or anything or any of that shit. Some of the new gen pros maybe, but nowadays, like especially back in the old days, like you just be playing so desperately for the win and nothing else mattered. That you can, when you starts to go away, that's when you lose your edge.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, that's just me ranting about stuff. Let's move on. Let's look on potential on young players getting getting a chance on big orgs without any experience. Yeah, but young players getting chances on big orgs without LAN experience.
Oh, we're talking basically like that Celium guy.
Yeah. This is the big topic at the moment.
You see, I've never actually personally heard of him. Like,
yeah, I personally haven't as well. Like,
Yeah.
but I don't really follow like S&D players in America. But I don't know. Like a risk has always been a risk. Like high reward, it could be high. It could be high. Like, you know what I mean? High risk, high reward. But I don't know, man. Like that's up to them sort of people that want to take that risk. Me personally, I'd like to see what that person can do like, on a different team. Like if a player could shine out against a good team with a less skilled team, then they deserve maybe a chance somewhere above that sort of skill. But I don't know about just picking someone out of the blue. Like
it's a risk, isn't it?
All right, let's move on because I think you've been lied to about this patch, mate. Because I just loaded up. I was checking.
Yeah, but I think it's coming soon, bro. It's not this minute.
It's coming soon. All right. Well, what
Maybe
have they
like
got? Fortunately, you got
6,
some sort of secret line down the fucking Treyarch headquarters or something.
Yeah.
Straight line TV.
22 gig patch is about to hit.
Come on, man. The stock went up a little bit, man.
Jesus. All right. We'll get these questions done quickly, just in case, so you can get some scrims in. Do you think a big org like C9 will look to buy a team once people qualify for the CWL? I think that is yes. I think they're going to just buy the teams. I think it's yes.
No.
You don't reckon?
No.
You don't reckon Team Sween's getting some money thrown at them right now?
I don't think money. I think an opportunity, not money.
All right, fair enough.
I think they'll get what they probably deserve, right?
Yeah.
Or whether they're getting fucking the reciprocity full works is a different question, right?
It is.
Yeah.
I don't. Well, they don't have to get bought out, right? So that's the good part about them. Anyone can get them, right? They come for free. That's the good part about them. They come for free.
But that's why they probably get good offers because nobody has to put up a big lump sum.
But this is where these big orgs don't want to put their hands in their pocket, right? Because
well, they're gonna need to.
Well, yeah, but this is where it comes to the whole point. Like, if they're gonna have a franchising spot, a top team in America would lose their team, right? Yeah. They get their team for nothing. But why would they invest in the whole year in this year without franchising, which could be a flop? There's just no need to spend that money, right?
No,
when they're gonna have a top team next year.
I still think someone's gonna do it. You know what?
Someone will, because I personally know of teams that told us wait till you play in the league, right?
Yeah.
but like it comes to a point where they tell you that, but how much they're really gonna come to you with, it's like, and then we had a good deal with Lightning Pandas as well, so.
In my mind, teams need to get signing bonus because they haven't got a buyout clause. That's like just 100%
yeah.
something that should happen.
Teams who need to hit Bryce up, he's
Yeah,
the negotiating king. Yeah,
out of courtesy, yeah, and that's up to their negotiation as well. But you've got to think they need an org just as much as the org needs them as well, because you have to have an org.
You have to have an org.
You have to have an org. So realistically, an org doesn't have to give them a signing bonus, but out of courtesy, it would be nice because they waited around, and they don't have to be put out. Then an org should give it them, right? That's the way we thought. It should be out of courtesy because we waited around. You told us to wait around, we waited around. But they don't have to give you it because you need an org.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens when it comes down to the crunch. I think after the qualifier, they'll be laughing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think I don't want to air their stuff out, but I think they're having some form of response now from that performance as it is. So
100%.
Well, I think they should just wait out. What are they going to receive from now to then? Maybe a month's salary.
Yeah.
Like a non-league salary as well, because most orgs just say we'll give you this before you make the league. They might as well wait at this point.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, let's keep going. Last question. Actually, two last questions. Any EU tends to be starting a stream with the guys left here? I think it's more Madcat. Are you planning a stream anytime soon?
No, I don't believe in streams.
I think it's if you want to get intense, Benson tends to be the best person to go to. He's always awesome.
I'm not a big fan of streaming. Honestly, even when like my teammates have had streamers before, I don't like them. I don't speaking about the game on them. I personally just don't like them.
LP staying in the UK for the foreseeable future, Dill.
Yeah. There's been no talks about moving out there.
I suppose Pro League, you'll be over there anyway. Like
yeah.
That's where your main practice will come from, I suppose.
All right. One last question after where my sleeves are. This is my gym top. We'll keep moving on. All right. I think that's it. I think that will do for this episode of Spitfire. Dylan, thank you so much for coming on.
My guy.
Any shout outs for you, Dill? Anything you want to say to the stream before we go?
The shout out to everyone that supports the team, basically, myself, like the shout out to supporting us, like that's it really.
Awesome. All right, well, make sure you go follow Madcat on Twitter and keep up with him. Lightning Pandas obviously will be playing in that playoffs or qualification for the Pro League. We'll see them as a catch up. Tunn?
I'm drawing the winner of the Astro. Right, okay, I'm going to link it one more time, and I'm going to draw it in 10 minutes. So this is for a chance to win.
Are we not doing it live?
Well, I was going to, but I need to sign in and do the EGL account and everything to find out people are following, and it's too much of a. I was going to do it live, but it's too risky. It's too risky. So I'm just going to link it in here. Enter this now. Right, so
right, make sure you enter that
10 minutes
for the Astro Gaming headsets.
10 minutes. So enter that, but this is going to be the last one until. Oh, let's have a look. So we're not going to be here next week.
Whoa!
Wait, right, so so you want to do it on Christmas Day or on Boxing Day?
Well, in fairness, we've done it on Thursday before, and that's the 27th, and that's nothing. So
I'm in Ireland, but I will be taking Sean's laptop.
Oh my god!
And
I'm looking for a new co-host for Spitfire.
What? I'm sorry that I am taking a little break from work. Is that okay?
If I can find co-host for Spitfire, then we'll have it next week.
I can do it, but I can't stream it.
Brilliant. All right. Well, I could probably stream it. It'll be dodgy as hell, but I'll do it. I just need to co-host some people in. All right, that's it. That's everything for this Spitfire. We'll find out. We'll see you next time and all that sort of malarkey. Thank you so much for watching.